Hey, this is Michael. I'm a product designer and a prototype builder. I didn't have a portfolio ready to show, and I really haven't had one for quite some time. So I had this situation where I needed to get one together really quick. So I've been a user of bolt.new and Claude Code for building prototypes, and it seemed like the logical thing just to put one together from scratch. So this is the story of how I made it, and it really was a one day to get the main site up, and then probably about 3 or 4 days to get all the content. So I had the kind of goofy idea that I wanted to make a severance themed portfolio. This is where I started. I start a lot of projects in Claude just to come up with a plan. But this project was a little peculiar because I wanted to have a severance terminal where someone was asking the terminal to describe me. The plan was really just to get the animation right. I gave it sort of a very short storyboard. Claude came up with a prompt for Bolt and really broke it down into a lot of steps. And it does a really great job of suggesting fonts to use, how to time the transition, and what to do with the reveal of the portfolio. Here's the terminal. Then it's asking, here's Michelangelo's, and then it zooms in and shows the portfolio. So that was just a goofy idea that I wanted. I just wanted to make that. So I asked Bolt to make it, and then I restyled the hero with a gradient so it looks like the terminal screen, and then I had to go in there and then update all the copy because I didn't give it any instructions for what to put in the copy. But it did some basic things. It put a button to connect to LinkedIn. I restyled it to, I think everything was this like white buttons. It does a really basic job of implementing everything. Uh, Switch over to looking at it in Bolt. So in Bolt, you're basically, prompting in. Looks like we lost our image there. We were basically prompting in this little text area, and then this web container is running this stack with React and Vite to build out the page in real time. So every time you make an edit, it gets reloaded into this panel of the web container. So here's a feature that I asked it to create different routes. Routes are the URL paths. If I wanted to send this portfolio to Bolt, for instance, I would use this URL / hello Bolt, and then I wanted to create these unique content for each of those URLs. The other thing I wanted to add was just these custom messages. So if I sent a message to the Bolt team, they would get, this special video just for them. So to give you an example, so this is the fake one I create for Lumen, which is the fictional company in the show Severance. And you can see where I say here, hello, amazing Lumen team, and allow me to introduce my Annie. And then there's a special welcome for them. The other thing I wanted to be able to do was to have this video. Well, first of all, I have the ability to turn off the splash screen. So you see that it has skip splash false here. Then it loads the splash screen and then the portfolio. So that was a couple different conditions for each of these things, and then I also wanted to do specific examples or expanded videos for the case studies for some of the case studies. So if I had show case study play buttons true, so let's go to this one for hello Bolt. And you see this one says hello Bolt team. Then I have in this case the portfolio. When you hover over the case study, then a video will show a walkthrough where I am talking about how I implemented that prototype. Okay, now that you see what I did with my portfolio, let's see how you would start one from scratch using a plan that is based on the layout that I created here to create your own in bolt.new. I created a plan here that you could find in michaelangelis.com/prompts.md, and this is just a plan to use the same structure from that portfolio. So we are going to create a minimal, modern, clean visual hierarchy and use strong typography. And we are going to structure it so there's a hero at the top, similar to the one I used. A section to describe, it's just basically your summary of what you do, and then a case study section, recommendation section, and a little bit more about you personally, with sections for any recognition, publication, speaking, and then a footer with a call to action. So what I did here was I started to come up with this plan, and then I ran it through ChatGPT to structure it in this Markdown file, and then I asked it to create some design tokens for colors, typography. If we're going to have a rounded corner radius for the card and buttons, that's also specified here, and then there's a shadow that's going to be used. So this is going to be used for the Tailwind config to use consistent styling in the portfolio. So what we're going to do is take this plan, and this is going to be the start of our prompt. And then you would go to bolt.new. If that's what you're using, you could use another generative AI coding tool like Lovable or Magic Patterns as well. We're just going to do it in this web-based generator and paste the prompt into here. And we're using the Claude agent by default. Um, since this is already a plan, I don't think we need to use the plan button, but I think may as well use that as well because Gemini might do something to try to interpret what the plan is about, and then structure it better for Bolt. And then we're gonna press build now, and it's going to read through the plan, come up with an adapted or updated plan based on what it understands that you can review before you start building. Okay, skipped ahead a little bit while this loaded or ran, and it came up with a plan that basically is reiterating everything that I asked it to do. It has some questions. I'm going to run this and see how it goes. Okay, so this is what it implemented. Now you can see that let's look at it in full screen. You can see that it created the sort of like the hero is like a full view height, viewport height card. And then it created the what I do section with the three boxes. The case studies cards, they're in two columns, so a little different from the way I did it. These recommendation cards, an about me section. Um, so it's very similar to the first layout or my design. I actually like this if I were to do a minimalist design, but there's not really much more you have to do to make this just fully functional. You would just upload a new image for your profile and then edit all the text. This is probably the thing that takes the most time is editing all the text and then creating all your assets for your portfolio. Otherwise, it's pretty clean. There's not a lot that I mean, I might break up this into three columns. So this is how I start to iterate on these things. I'm looking at the about me section and I'm saying recognition, publication, and speaking. I go back into plan mode and say um, break up the about me recognition publications and speaking into three columns below the bio and photo. Now let's see what it does without the plan. Yeah, so that was simple enough that it could do it. So now let's do what I did with my portfolio, which is to create routes so that you could have a special configuration file to show custom description in the hero section. So I'm going to use plan mode now again. So let's set up, let's create an audiences JSON file that will give me the option to have custom welcome messages underneath, let's say, the role subheading. Sometimes I like to start with in the hero or in tell it where we're working first. You could also do that by just using the select button and doing this. So we're um, which contains the let's say the summary. Crafting, beautiful. In the JSON file, I want to configure the default summary and then have a what's it called, a parameter, a field for the audience. Use that value to create a route that shows the custom messages. So custom summary. For example, audience default summary, that one, and then audience, let's say hello. I'll just do the Lumen example again. Hello Lumen summary. Hi Lumen, eat my Annie Jane. Let's see if it understands what I'm asking it for. Okay, so it finished running this plan, and here's the audiences.json file. Uh, there's the messages that I asked it to make, and then if we look at the hero section, you can see that it is now using summary here from the audiences.json file, and we can check it out to see if it works. So we do hello Lumen. Okay, so the routing doesn't work because we need to create a redirects file. I always forget this step. So we'll deploy to Netlify. So let's set up the redirects file. Okay, so it created the redirects file for me in the public directory. So plan's completed. So now it should work. If we go to Hello Lumen here, it should load. There you go, to the Lumen page. And that's it. If you were going to then publish it now, Bolt actually offers domain hosting, so you could just publish it directly from Bolt. You would just have to claim the domain. Publishing without a domain just puts it in Netlify with, the I think it's just a random string unless you give it a name. Yes, it's a string based on. I think it's based on. No, it's not based on the name of the project, but you could change this to Jane's portfolio, like that, for instance, and then save it, and then it will go to janesfolio.netlify or no dot bolt host, I believe. There's a new domain, um, dot bolt dot host. So if you were to publish it there, it goes to that domain. If you want to use your own custom domain, you could buy a domain or add an existing domain, or you could check it into GitHub, for instance, and then in GitHub you can you can run get Netlify to publish it from your GitHub repository. So those are different ways you could do this. Right now, the easiest way is just to publish it directly from Bolt. If you want to go through some extra steps, you can do it, however you want to do it. If you want to just download this as well, you could do that. You would just go to, oh, I lost the top of there it is. You could just download your whole project using the export and download here as well. So that's it. It's it took a little while to get it to get the basic setup. It was really quick to get the basic setup. The major steps are going to be editing the content. The custom routing, I think, is useful if there are some things to fix still, like this bottom section here, but it's mostly working. But it's really simple to get your portfolio up in an hour or two, just to get the basic parts up, and then you keep refining it and iterating it to your liking. That's it for this very simple Bolt session. It seems like not even worth a session, but it's it's something that I did for my own portfolio, so it seemed worth it. The next set of videos I'm going to focus on building apps more. I mean, this is a static website, which is a good primer on how to get started. But I think the big, the main use that I have for Bolt and for Claude Code and any other tools is really to build prototypes or full working apps. So we'll dive into those the next time. See you soon.